D-Lo 404 Boxing. All right, man. There are a lot of people saying that Kell Brook is at a disadvantage, being that the fight's only, I think it's like 6-7 weeks out, and he has to come down to 147 pounds to fight Terrence Bud Crawford for his WBA title. My thoughts on that are this. You got Terrence Crawford been at 147 pounds for a couple years now. Kell Brook said he wanted to fight. He knew where the fight was going to have to be, man. And quite honestly, this is a fight that we've been hearing about for about a year, off and on. Kell Brook would say he wants to fight Bud Crawford, then he'll start saying he can't make 147 pounds as soon as Bud responds. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's happened multiple times. And even Eddie Hearn was talking about the fight, you know. And the reality is, Terrence Crawford always made it clear that, you know, he's going to defend his 147-pound title if they were to have that fight. And the reality is, for all intents and purposes, Kell Brook looks like a better welterweight than he does a 154-pound fighter. You know, when you look at the body of work, he's done nothing at 154 pounds to write home about. He's done nothing to merit anyone's suggestion that he fight any of the top guys at 154 pounds. So he's almost like a fighter out of no man's land. He's like a fighter without a division, because the division that he's currently campaigning in, he talked noise when he went to the division, but since he gotten there, you know, he hasn't made any effort to step to any of the top guys, nor does he look like he can hold his own with them based on the body of work at 154 pounds. Okay? Some people may say the same thing about Bud at 147, but I would strongly disagree with that in terms of how he looks as if he could compete. Now that said, Kell Brook at 147 pounds was an absolute terror. You know, he moved up to 160, fought Golovkin, did a phenomenal job until he got his eye socket broken, got stopped. Coming off of that, he went straight into the defense against Errol Smith Jr., where he held his own. The fight was back and forth, you know, give and take. It was a pick'em type fight until Errol pulled away from him, breaking his other eye socket, and the fight being stopped. You know, with that being said, Kell's a big welterweight. He's a muscular guy. He's campaigned at 154 pounds, I want to say, for his last 3 fights. But the fact of the matter is, he's been calling for this fight with Bud. He knew the fight would be at 147 pounds. If right now, today, he hasn't made efforts to get himself and his body in a position to make 147 pounds safely, that's 100% on him. And that's just all it is to it. And the reality is, the other big fight that Kell Brook was calling for was against Amir Khan. That was also a fight at which Amir Khan was telling him, if we fight, it's going to have to be at 147 pounds. So the reality is, Kell Brook is calling out guys for fights at a weight that if he feels like he can't make safely, then that's on him. You know, I don't want to hear, it's almost as if people want to give credit for Kell Brook being who he is and saying, okay, that's a big win if Bud can beat him. But at the same time, they're paving the road for an excuse should Bud beat him. I don't want to hear it. The best man is going to win this fight, and there are going to be no excuses. If Bud goes out there and loses to Kell Brook, hey, Kell Brook was a better man. If Bud goes out there and struggles but wins to Kell Brook, then that's going to open up a whole nother conversation. If Kell Brook goes out there and loses, gets run over, however it plays out, Bud was the better man on fight night. And that's it. That's all it is to it. So, for me, I don't like to play this cerebral game of, yeah, let's give a little credit, but let's take away a little credit, and let's go ahead and put an asterisk in there, or go ahead and put a disclaimer in there, just in case this guy totally outclasses this guy. We can say he had no business fighting him in the first place. I'm not with that. I give credit where credit's due. The best man's gonna win that fight on fight night. That's all I gotta say on that subject. I'm out.